Primetime Saturday rolls along here live across the MLE Network as week number 6 of action gets set to kick off here live on MLE Sports GG. My name is Inanimate J, joined in the booth tonight by the one and only Junior P Cubed. Junior, coming up next, we've got some Premier League action. It's the Bears and the Tyrants. Both of these teams rocking really high-level rosters today, looking to fight it out towards the top of the Orange Conference standings.
Yeah, both these teams are right around that upper echelon of their division, both second respectively. I think the Bears are just one more game behind than the Tyrants. We've got Ali, we've got Matt Rachi, we've got Zach on the Bears versus Ansu, Ellis, and Ween. It's gonna be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it. I genuinely have no idea which way this one swings.
3 of the top 10 players by MVP rating in this lobby. 2 of them for the Tyrants, 1 of them for the Bears. It'll be Zach trying to lead the line for them here against the Tyrants roster that is trailing the Volcanic Division lead by just a single game. A big win here for either of these 2 teams puts them in the driver's seat for locking up that number 1 seed, although they both sit in the playoff spots right now, looking to increase the gap to the teams chasing them down at the back of their divisions.
With each and every week that we go on, with each and every match that we cast and watch and see all of the greatness that happens up here at the Premier League, we get closer and closer to the playoffs, and every single game matters, especially in a series this deep into the season already. We could be shaking up the leaderboard completely based off of the result of this series alone. The Bears, they're 11-9. The Tyrants, they're 13-7. It's only a slight gap separating these 2 teams. Looking into this, I mean, the leaderboard entirely could shift based off of how strongly this goes in either one direction or the other, I guess.
Exactly. The halfway point of the season is on the other side of these 5 games for both of these teams. A big win here really sets them up strongly for the stretch run. Top 2 teams in each division in Premier League making it into the playoffs. So now's the time to make ground and get that gap going between those chasing teams, because every one of those wins just takes a little bit off of your plate when you play your division rivals in the final 3 weeks of the regular season. Every win now has that extra bit of meaning to it, especially when you're looking at potential playoff previews as well, with the teams from the divisions crossing over as we get set to kick off game number 1.
Game number 1, every game matters. Starting off strong here is going to be paramount. The Tyrants, obviously, they want to keep their game lead, but they got to start off here with game number 1. It's immediately over here on the Bears half. Tyrants not letting them cross over so far, not really giving any space over. First 15 seconds of play so far, the Tyrants have had a lot of control, and the Bears really haven't seemed to get anything going down offensively in their opponent's half. Keeping everything going, making sure it's swimming right around this midfield area where they're not able to really make sure that anything's crossing that line whatsoever. Ellis, he's going to try to dribble this up. That's an opportunity by Zach, but it's off the ceiling. Waterfall keeping it down. Matt Rachi with a shot, but no, that's saved by Wayne. It's another follow-up. Double commit comes out. The Bears holding on for dear life right now. They're not letting go of this lead. They're trying to hold on, keep it all equaled up. First minute of play, we've already seen some strong opportunities on either side of the field, and no one's taken that advantage just yet.
There's a good amount of pressure starting by the Bears in that offensive stanza. 4 shots on goal already amounted towards the Tyrants' net at the far end of DFH Stadium, but a lot of really well-positioned defense out of the Tyrants meant that none of those chances were really all too threatening. They got saves on every single one of them, and it really was just down to a couple of really good positioning attempts by the Tyrants to keep that alive. Eventually got pressure off from the Bears, but this is looking good. It's Zach to Ali. Will set things up for the first goal. The Bears make it 1-0.
It's incredible passing play right here, just to make sure that the selfish option is not taken. Ali steps up, puts it right over the defender. How are you supposed to defend that? It's 1-0 on the board for the Bears, and it's a great start where they need to find these games early on. If they can get at least 2, they're putting themselves in primetime position. Obviously, they want to win all 3 games. It's another shot by Zach. The Bears are coming in, guns a-blazing. The Tyrants, they haven't been able to figure out how to stop this onslaught just yet.
Really going to start with getting the ball out of their end almost all of the first 2 minutes of play inside that magenta half of DFH. And even when the ball gets downfield, there really isn't a lot of pressure being built up by the Tyrants right now. The Bears very well positioned to clear this away, forcing the Tyrants to have to play again from off their back wall, just trying anything they can to get this ball free as Els finally takes it up the wing and looks for the Tyrants' first shot on goal, still not credited with one.
Yeah, but they're getting these passes down. They're keeping this pressure going. The Tyrants are finally starting to mount some sort of an assault down in the Bears' half. We're about to cross halftime. They haven't found that goal just yet. Counterattack could be deadly. Wayne, he's not able to find it. Ali with the follow-up. Matt Raji, he's not there to get that final shot that could have broken the defense of the Tyrants. First half of this game gone. Some scrambling still by the Tyrants on defense, but that miss at midfield could open up some space. Els, it'll drop right down on the hood of his car. It's a bounce shot down to Zach. The double commit could start a double or domino effect, but they're going to have to keep up this pressure right now because the Tyrants, they're not letting up any space whatsoever. The Bears looking to get out of their own half.
A lot of pressure now starting to build for the Tyrants. This first real sustained amount of pressure on the Bears net. Not a lot towards the goal, but enough to make the defense shift back and forth. Els getting bumped and then demoed as well by Ali on the way through. Should open things up as the Bears notch their 10th shot on goal so far in this game, nursing the 1-0 lead so far, really on the back of Zach's performance. 7 of the 10 shots now for the Bears registered to their franchise manager on the field here, trying to rally this team towards a big win that'll go a long way in the standings.
Yeah, you mentioned the amount of shots that the Bears have taken. Let's take a look at the Tyrant shots. They've only recorded 1 so far, and it's been 4 minutes of play. Now, for the Bears, you could say that there's some offensive efficiency to be working on, but the Tyrants really haven't had that many strong opportunities compared to the pressure that has been applied by the Bears. They're able to continue this ball down in the Bears' half, but the demo opens up loads of space. Time is ticking down, and opportunities in Game 1 are running thin. The demo should open up even more space, but Zach is there, clears it as deep as he could ask for. Provides plenty of time for the Bears to reset. The Tyrants looking to go down the field, but they've got nobody forward. The demos, they're looking to open up space. Nice shot, but Zach's able to put that one away. The attack thwarted once again by the Bears.
The Tyrants timing on their shots, they just can't find the Bears in an uncomfortable spot. They can't find that opening to make these shots really dangerous. They've been saved by the Bears both times that the Tyrants have put them on goal, but you haven't really felt like it's been anything more than routine when it comes to the Bears defense. Even for all the demos that both sides have been putting on, it's just great positioning out of the Bears that let them take this ball away from those Tyrants' chances. They go corner to corner, but nothing in front of the net really screams like this is an imminent shot on goal, and a chance here might be one for the Tyrants, but Ali will take that one upfield easily. Saved away by Anzu. Last gasp for the Tyrants. It's Wayne to Els. Matt Rachi up for the save. That should just about do it as Anzu slams it off the backboard out of reach, and the Bears walk away with Game 1.
I think you were absolutely spot on when you said that the Tyrant shots just really haven't felt like they were going to be goals. The opportunities have absolutely been there, but the Tyrants just haven't been able to find that opportunity. It looked like they were putting the ball right around the top of the 18, just none of that sustained pressure amounting to any formidable shot. And for the Bears, they're happy to play with these default rotations. They weren't really playing scared whatsoever on defense, and they certainly weren't playing scared on offense. 12 total shots found across 5 minutes. The pressure was there for Zach, Ali, and Matt Rachi. We haven't seen the same from Els, Ansu, and Wayne in the first game, but it could have been a slow start for the Tyrants. It was definitely a fast one for the Bears. We'll see whose energy prevails moving into game number 2.
It's kind of a shocker to see a team put up 12 shots on goal but only find 1 goal, because that it just screams like you're on offense for the entire game at that point. And if you can't get the conversion right, and you give Premier League its due, there's a lot of really good individual mechanical skill. And when you watch this one back, you'll see just how well the Tyrants did defend their net in the grand scheme of things. But you get the sense that if the Tyrants don't find a way to relieve that pressure more frequently, it's just a matter of time before the Bears will find a way to make those chances count on a more consistent basis.
It's absolutely a positive for the Tyrants, the fact that their defense was able to hold them down to just 1 goal, but you need goals, you don't need saves, and that's one thing that the Tyrants weren't able to find. The Bears were able to find that crucial advantage goal trouble. Sometimes one mistake is all you need to take a single game, but we find ourselves with a reset clock, a reset scoreboard, and plenty of time left to go. So we're keeping this right around the midfield area. Ali will put this on the backboard. Lots of boost being used right now by the Tyrants to really not get that much done. Starting to get starved out just a little bit. The touch down to Wayne will be good enough for the Paz, at least get something done, but it's not productive as of yet. Ansu steps up into the corner, trying to bounce it around the waterfall, but Matt Rachi, resilient as ever, keeping it on this goal line. The onslaught not done yet, but the Bears are holding on strong.
More pressure out of the Tyrants as this ball still in the end. Ansu with a little bit of a fake on Matt Rachi high off the backboard. Opens up a shot for Els. No follow-up from the Tyrants as the boost tanks run dry at the worst possible second for that offensive push. Instead, they were using a lot of boost. It looks like it's at both ends of the field right now. It's just a struggle, it seems, for them to keep the ball moving at times as they get it in transition. Els just with the last fumes gets past two Bears, but there's the third. It's Zach to clear it away once more.
Yeah, we're seeing more Bears pressure. You felt like that was the first time we've seen some dangerous Tyrants down in the Bears half, but they just weren't able to convert that shot. They found the shots, just not the goals at the end of it. All threes on the clock as the Bears are starting to make their way down the field. Once again, Ansu steps up, but everybody's out of sorts. It's going to be a shot for Matt Rachi, but Els comes up big. Rather, Els comes up big as he's not taking in any of those just yet. Ansu with another nice save off his backboard. Counterattack could be starting. It's a nice double tap opportunity. Ball bouncing around kind of like an arcade pinball machine. Nothing finding the back of the net. Finally, Zach, he sifts through the chaos, gets it out to midfield, at least alleviates the pressure for just a little bit. Follow-ups, though, are keeping on coming through for the Tyrants. No goal found so far, but the offense is coming in.
The thing that surprises me the most about this, only 2 registered shots out of all of this phase of play for the Tyrants. We still haven't seen them really build up anything that truly threatens the Bears' net. As they get this one upfield again, they start to set up. This is a good chance. Ali looking for Matt Rachi on the short infield pass. Won't find it. That's a big miss by Zach, though. Might open it up for Els, but no power, as the last vestiges of boost in the tank were all that they could use to try and get that upfield. The Bears just seem to be managing the boost a little bit better. They're putting the Tyrants in tough spots, Junior, and we see that when they get it upfield, it's just not as efficient as it seems that the Bears are finding a way to make it happen.
Both these teams are a lot more stable than what we saw in the last one. You mentioned last game how it felt like the Tyrants didn't really have that many dangerous shots. I say right as Ween puts one in, Ali has to make the epic save. It seems like these teams are just playing kind of stagnant. It looks like default rotations. Finally, Ween will put this one in on the back of a stray touch by the Bears. It's 1-0, and the Tyrants have netted their first.
Most of the time that clear by Matt Rachi is a good one, but it's really strong by Els, lurking at that far side, kind of half-wall position, hits the seeing eye pass to the top of the box for Ween, who drills it past the Bears defense. The Tyrants with their breakthrough finally, after putting up a lot of defensive numbers again to start this game, might just be enough to hold on to if the Bears can't get this one moving forward quickly.
We saw the Bears capitalize on a single mistake that was made by the Tyrants. It could be flip-flop for the Tyrants this time, but hold on, there's a mistake. Matt Rachi's going to put one in. He's equalizing as quickly as you can ask for. 1-1 now off the back of a stray midfield touch that turns itself into a pass and a beautiful shot to finish it off.
Got to give a ton of credit to Zach to recognize the space that opened up there. Matt Rachi grabs the middle boost, and both Ansu and El turn away from that zone, being able to let Matt Rachi get in on that one and get the shot away. Great play by the Bears.
Yeah, keeping this up in midfield, though. The Tyrants are hungry for more. They want this offense to continue on. It's down in the corner, but it's going to keep the pressure up at the very least. Els with a shot, but it's just wide of the uprights. Double commit could be dangerous for the Bears, but no goal found on the back of that offensive attempt. We've seen the Tyrants move down the field so many times, get so much pressure, but find so few goals off the back of it. Zach's touch puts it into the corner. They're continuing just to clear this. Either side is. It's a long floater, but Ali, he steps up, gets that one out. A last minute on this clock. You still got an equalized scoreline. It's basically a 0-0 game. Inanimate J, I still don't know who's going to take this one at the end of the day.
It really comes down to, I think, which team blinks first, although Matt Rachi looking for one just in transition goes wide. You get the sense that with how evenly matched these teams are, it really does come down to the finer points of detail. And for me, it's felt like the boost management for the Tyrants has left that little bit extra wanting if you're trying to will them forward to win this one. The Bears, they look so good in a lot of cases, and the Tyrants haven't solved them outside of that one really fantastic passing play so far.
Yeah, but the Bears, they find themselves continually on offense. I mean, this pressure is just starting to mount, starting to build, starting to become unrelenting. The Tyrants unable to break out of their own half. The passing is coming through, but none of the shots are being found on the back. The last 10 seconds, we very well could be headed to overtime here. We haven't seen anything to suggest the opposite. It's going to roll all the way down to the Bears half. Ali, he's going to try to find a touch. Els might be set up, but no, we're headed to overtime here in game number 2 with both these teams trying to take either double the advantage or tie it all up going into Forbidden Temple next.
You know what I love about Premier League is just the lack of panic that comes into a lot of these players' minds. You look back on a couple of those goalmouth scrambles, there's no like throwing of the car at the ball, just trying to get it clear. Everyone understands what they're capable of doing, what they need to do in a situation like that. It's just calm, cool, collected, and then gets away from the net, away from danger.
It seems like they play so calculated, I guess. Every single touch is important and it has a purpose behind it. It's the stark difference compared to some of the other leagues where it looks so much more like an art than a game being played on the field. It's what we see across the field on both these teams. Hats off, they're playing a phenomenal game right now. While it might seem boring, they're playing consistently, and that's what you need right now at the PL level. You need to make the fewest amount of mistakes or else your opponent is going to step up and capitalize. There's a mistake by the Tyrants. These can start to steamroll slightly. They ended up trading out as this possession ends up falling in the hands of the Tyrants. This ball will continue to bounce back and forth, much like a beach ball at a Nickelback concert. No goal found just yet, but you can tell these teams are starting to heat up.
This reminds me so much of a mixed martial arts grappling fight. Two grapplers fighting hand to hand, just looking for those micro advantages, and that's the micro advantage the Tyrants needed. The demo at midfield, the force of the clearance by Zach, opening the door as Els will take control of that one and end this one in overtime. 2-1, the Tyrants will tie the series.
Els even gets a little bit of help from Wien right there. Gets a little bit of a pull shot, but at the end of the day, a goal is a goal. Tyrants equalized the series up at 1 apiece, and it looked like a much more coherent game out of the Tyrants. It didn't feel like they were just keeping the ball down in their opponent's half for the sake of having offense. It felt like they actually had some dangerous shots, made the Bears sweat just a little bit. I don't even know if Bears can biologically sweat. It doesn't matter. It's what happened on the pitch. It's what happened in the game, and for the Tyrants, this is a great result to at least tie up the series. We head into the swing game of this series in game number 3, still looking to determine a victor, and well, we're not going to get it in game 3. We're guaranteed to find it in game number 4 at the very least. Tyrants look a whole lot better. Bears, whatever game plan they had in game number 1, starting to show its cracks here on Neo Tokyo.
It really just came down to that one opening that came for the Tyrants. They forced it open with the demo at midfield, because if it wasn't for 5 saves by Anzu in game number 2, this one might have been a different story. Both teams posting a number of saves, a lot of them memorable as well, as the offense finally starting to click for the Tyrants. It's just going to come down to, for the Bears, trying to get a little bit more in terms of their chances converting. For the Tyrants, just more of the same. Look for those openings, withstand the pressure, and try to squeak out of this one with the advantage.
It's something we talked about in game number 1, how Bears had 12 shots, I believe, and only found 1 goal off the back of it. Offensive efficiency, if you're getting those kind of shots, you've got to be converting them. Likewise, for the Tyrants, they cannot rely on their defense continuously. It did help them out in the last game. They were able to take it through with overtime, but now it's a whole new game, a whole new opportunity. The game plan certainly looking to be countered by the Bears. It's an early double commit at the top of the 6th. These things can start to steamroll. They can start to pile up, make some issues down the road, but seems like they've benefited off the back, but they're keeping this pressure. Nice down the field touch by Wien. He'll even be able to follow this one up. Has plenty of boost, looking to touch it down. Ansu comes in, but can't find the shot on that. Tyrants with their first real opportunity of this series, or game rather.
Oh, that was actually favorable up the ceiling. Zach finishes it off. Probably didn't have to as well. A huge 50. Watch this. Just right in the face of Els. Beats 2 players from the Tyrants and will tap it home on the goal line. A big lead early for the Bears, as that one came pretty much out of nothing, June. You were talking about the Tyrants' first opportunities. It's the Bears who strike first.
Yeah, the Tyrants, you felt like they needed to find that first goal. What a touch by Zach! Oh my goodness, what a shot! Reading this off the far post, this is absolutely insane.
Gets the double on the fadeaway. Spoiler of the Octane. Fools Ween in front of the net, and it's all of a sudden a 2-0 Bears lead.
That was absolutely incredible by Zach. 2-0. As quick as you can snap your fingers, the Bears are coming out swinging as strongly as they can. The Tyrants just don't have an answer for both the 50 and the double tap we've just witnessed. First minute, and the Bears have already taken a solid advantage. They're even hungry for more right here. Ali's touch is going to put it right towards the top of the corner. They'll look to work this around the corner waterfall, but no final touch. No final opportunity has manifested itself as of yet. The Tyrants find a good clear, but midfield control is absolutely in the control of the Bears. Finally, the Tyrants will break out. They'll work the ball down the field. They'll keep things going, but can they find the goal off of this? I feel like they need to.
They need to, but it's not going to come here, as that one high and floating in an easy spot for the Bears defense to deal with. Pressure will be held in by Ween here, looking to try and get this one out, but a touch isn't really what you want to look for at that point. You need to have a bit more purpose on that. Els, though, will find the angle, picks up the pieces of that chance, and gets one back for the Tyrants.
It might not have looked like the strongest of opportunities for the Tyrants at first, but they certainly made the most of whatever shot they got. Els puts in the first, cuts the deficit in half. First 90 seconds, we're already seeing fireworks here on Forbidden Temple, and we're seeing the best of both these teams. Their offense is coming out. Their defense, maybe not so much, but that's okay. They can iron out the kinks with this last 3 minutes of gameplay or so.
But 100 seconds into Game 3, we get as many goals in one game as we have so far through 10-plus minutes of action through Games 1 and 2. We'll see if this pace keeps up, though, Junior, as the Bears looking for their third. Zach's up looking for another good angle, falls down to Els, gets the carry, has boost to work with, past Matt Rachi, but can't find the touch in front for the lurking Ansu. Ween looking for the shot, and a good save by Zach, as the Bears, they get caught in transition, but hold fast and keep it 2-1.
Yeah, they're finding these demos as well. They're not only stopping the shots, they're creating their own down the other side. It's a great save by Ansu, but it's again off the ceiling waterfall. This pressure just does not stop. Zach a bit too high, a little too overzealous with that opportunity. We've just crossed halftime in Animate. I feel like this game has been going on much longer than the time actually has been. As this game continues on, as this series trots on forward, Els is going to put this into the corner. The Tyrants are going to look to break out, but the Bears, they're continuing to hold on to this advantage, and they're even looking for more, not giving the Tyrants a second to breathe, even though boost might be running out. Their offensive pressure is still holding on strong, that is, until the Tyrants can get this one out. It's a good opportunity, but Ali's there to save that, knock that one away. Tyrants' possession continues, but Bears, they're starting to be on defense just a little bit more than they would like.
I love how fluid this game is. Els looking for one, reaching from center. Ali with a great stretching save, cuts off the top of the bar. Follow-up play by Ansu will find the target. It's a 2-2 game. The Tyrants will even the score.
It felt like this entire offensive opportunity just built up until finally the breaking point when this absolute rocket of a shot from Ansu comes in and equalizes the score all up. We're back to effectively a 0-0 game. We've got a minute 45 left to go. Ween's going to put this kickoff right in midfield, but Zach is going to use all of his boost just to give up a little bit of possession for the time being. A little bit of miscommunication at midfield. It's going to work out in the end. Sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles, and right now the cookie is looking to be shattered, but the Tyrants not able to find that opportunity they like. All of the Bears out of position, though. Matt Rachi all the way back, puts it off the crossbar. About as good of a save as you can like, but that was a little bit too heroic for the Bears to not come out of that a little bit shaken.
Well, shaken, maybe stirred, possibly, as the Bears still looking to keep this one away. It's a great clear off their backboard. Should buy them just enough time to regain their rotation. Shot comes in by Ween, easily saved by Zach. All Tyrants pressure here as we get down into the final 60 of game number 3. The Tyrants really looking hard to try and take the advantage in this series after losing what felt like a really tightly contested game 1 and then having to fight through overtime to find game number 2. It's felt more in their favor, even with those 2 early Bears goals. They've done well to pull the score back, and for them to not come out of this one with the win might feel a little bit hard done by.
Last 30 seconds, whatever mistakes are going to be made, you certainly don't want to be making them right now. Everything on the line here in game number 3. While it doesn't determine the series, it can definitely hurt your confidence moving forward. It's a bouncer off the ceiling. It's going to be saved away, but right now the Tyrants scrambling, low boost across the field, 13 seconds remaining. They'll be able to find at least a little bit of a strong touch. L is looking for some kind of an aerial play, but not going to find the angle on that one. One final opportunity, it seems, for the Bears down the field as they found themselves with a load of space. Passes down, Zach with the shot, and at 0 seconds, the Bears put home the game winner.
This one hurts for the Tyrants. Ween can't get the clear. Matt Rocci lines the pass up perfectly. Anzu flying across. Desperation play to try and save it. Zach on the infield line puts it in, and the Bears come out with game 3 on the winning side, 3-2.
This has got to be the best confidence booster you can ask for the Bears, but for the Tyrants, with how that game went, how they were able to claw that lead back into their favor, at least keep it equalized all the way to where they thought was going to be overtime. Zach says no, nets the hat trick, 3 goals found for him and 1 at the most important second, which is the last one. 3-2, Bears go up 2-1, and well, that's got to be a heartbreaker for the Tyrants. The Bears, if they can contain this energy, bottle it up, and make it explode into game number 4, they are looking to take home the majority of the games, but the Tyrants, they're going to have a little bit more of a beaten path moving forward after this kind of a game, after this kind of a result where you think you're headed to overtime, but no, Bears saying no. It's going to be a hurtful one, but they've got to have that mentality moving forward, especially with the outlook of playoffs on the line.
If you look at that last game in a microcosm, it was really the Zach show. 3 goals, 3 saves as well, kind of stifling that Tyrants offense, whereas the Tyrants really didn't have a huge individual performance out of anybody in terms of the scorecard, and realistically they actually kind of lagged behind a little bit in that regard. So if the Tyrants can kind of tighten it up a little bit, come up with a bigger team effort, then maybe they can kind of shut that kind of individual play down, because the Bears have kind of been struggling throughout the course of the series. Zach has been topping the scorecards for the Bears, and if they take Zach out of the equation, maybe that team effort will come good for them here to bring them game number 4 and tie the series once more.
Playing together as a team is going to be absolutely what swings this game, and a different favor in the team play, whether intentional or not, comes out, and Ween puts in the first right here for the Tyrants off the back of a great 50 by L's, 1-0. First 8 seconds, we're already seeing the Tyrants bounce back.
You don't always need to keep control of an air dribble to make good things happen. Els actually loses that one halfway through, but positions for the 50 afterwards from the challenge of Matt Rocci. It falls in a great spot. This one also might fall in a great spot. Right open for Els off the missed shot by Anzu. It's a 2-0 Tyrants lead early.
It almost feels like the Bears have had their juice box absolutely scrunched at the end of game number 3. The Tyrants are coming out angry and feisty. 2 goals in the first 15 seconds. They want to take this game by storm, show what they're made of, because they are absolutely embarrassed after that last game result.
It's exactly what you want to see out of a team that just dropped a close game like that. Come out with a fire underneath you. Come back swinging and remind everybody out there exactly what you're capable of. Although Zach reminding us what he's capable of. A fantastic individual play to cut the lead to 1.
Back-to-back defensive blunders, once for the Bears, now for the Tyrants. They're trading evenly, and the deficit's cut to half. The mountain a little bit less tall to climb moving forward. First 30 seconds, already seeing 3 goals. We're seeing a Wild West shootout so far, and the defenses haven't held on as strong as we've seen previously, but hopefully that'll change as the series goes on. At least game number 4 goes on. Ansu with that save keeps it in midfield. Ball continues to trend right around that halfway point as they're looking for opportunities, but none of them are manifesting themselves just yet.
When you get to this level of play where players are so mechanically consistent in terms of their positioning, they're really able to read a lot of the individual plays. You see a lot more of those infield one-touch passing plays right onto the nose of other players, because that's about the only way you can beat players at this level sometimes, is just to literally move the ball faster than the human mind can react to a play.
Yeah, if you can accelerate the ball faster than you can react, odds of you scoring drastically go up. And that's what we're looking to see, as these passing plays seem to be the driving factor of some of these games. Alley puts in the second one, equalized the scoreline. We were talking about passing, accelerating faster than the mind can react. We've just seen that out of Alley.
A lot of that did come down to the Tyrants losing that one in transition out from their own back half. Didn't keep control of the clear, didn't really have an ability to contest the space that Zach was using to play that passing game perfectly onto the nose of Ali. No mistake, as Els was helpless in net, and it's 2-2.
Tyrants, they had the strong start, but they've seemingly given it away. We'll see if they can work their way back into it. It's a long shot, and it's an awkward touch by Matt. Not going to find a follow-up. I say that as one member misses, but Els does it. 3-2 now. The Tyrants retake the advantage.
Bears needed to get that one a little bit further away from net. Matt Rachi's touch not quite powerful enough to get it away. Zach actually running into Matt inside the net as well, as the Bears defense desperately tried to claw that one away. Doesn't work. The Tyrants get their lead back.
Tyrants not going down without a fight. Thankfully, they've got plenty of time still to work with. It's still in the corner as Wien will pass down to Els. They looked for the third member, but Ansu was rotating back instead. Right around midfield, Zach looking to kickstart the counter-attack, but none of it found yet. Matt Rachi off the backboard. Ali with the follow-up, but no, just outside the post. Another opportunity for the Bears. They weren't able to find it. Low boost right now for the Tyrants. High shot can cripple them, and it's exactly what's going to happen for Matt Rachi as he puts in the equalizer once again for the Bears.
Director Cam was watching that one painfully from Anzu's point of view, knew that there was no boost left in the tank. A little bit hard done by Wien, looked like they got a piece of it on my screen, almost getting that cleared, but the game server said no thank you, that one's in. 2 minutes into this one, Junior, 6 goals as the scoring seems to heat up as the series goes on.
We're seeing a goal, every 6 seconds? I can't do math. I've dropped out of calculus twice. The point of it is that we've seen an absolute firefight so far offensively, where both these teams, their defenses aren't holding on so strong, but their offenses are making up for it. Now, it can be a bit of a sour spot, I guess, whenever you can't save any of the shots that are coming through, but at least not all of the shots are going through. We're only halfway through the game. I still can't believe that the Tyrants and the Bears are duking it out. They want to be taking home the advantage. The Bears are close, but the Tyrants have a little bit further of a way to go. 3-3 into the second half of the game, looking to see what can be done. It's a nice pass by Els, but Ali's able to clear that one away. Keeping everything going right around midfield. It's, still trending down here in the Tyrants' half as Wien, he'll try to keep this ball out. Ansu, it's right on the hood of his car. He'll give up possession, opt for Els to step in instead. Keeping it around this midfield line, a nice awkward touch by Ali, rather puts it awkwardly for Anzu. They're looking for these passing plays again. The control is being fouled right now in the Tyrants' half. First 20 seconds into this last 2 minutes of gameplay so far. It's trending right on that midfield line. Neither team really taking too much control of the pitch, but that's certainly something that has to change. It's off the backboard. Matt Rachi's shot immediately stopped by Anzu as another opportunity is thwarted by the Tyrants.
It's a good look. Oh, speaking of good looks, another great infield pass. Ali hits Matt Rachi on the nose, and there's not a lot of saving for this one out of the Tyrants. Matt Rachi just drills it right from the center, not dead center of the Tyrants' net, and it's a 4-3 lead.
You get caught out on your rotations, you get caught with that much space in the back line, you're going to get scored on, and that's exactly what's happened for the Bears. Now, all the Bears have to do is hold on to a lead for the next minute and 15 seconds, but that's a tougher task than you could say with words. Last minute and 10 seconds of play. Els will take a shot. Matt Rachi's put it awkwardly off the ceiling waterfall. Zach steps up, uses all of his boost to get that one out, but it's at least enough to get this all the way down the field. I think if you're the Bears, I think you need a second one here. You need a bit of a cushion because the Tyrants, while the offense might be quiet right now, it can certainly come alive at a moment's notice.
Speaking of a moment's notice, that might have been a big opportunity for Els to take that in transition. It falls to Anson with no boost to try and get the Tyrants offense started. It's still held in here. This one floating center. Another goal line stand by Ansu. Matt Rachi's up with a chance to finish it. Won't find the target as the Tyrants, they need a goal. They're playing from the back line. That one finding a way to just float in front of that net. And Ali anticlimactically puts it in. Took a while to get there, but it's 5-3 Bears.
Man, it felt like the Tyrants were finally building up. Rather, the Bears, their pressure was accelerating. That touch by Wien that just does not make contact. Els can't find it. It's a calamity of errors. It ends up with the 5th goal being scored by the Bears and the advantage very comfortably being taken. 25 seconds is enough time to find 2 goals, but it's certainly a challenge. We'll have to see how this game pans out to see which direction the cookie crumbles. Keeping things going, Tyrants definitely want this final couple goals. Now hold on just a second. Weed's put in a fourth. With 10 seconds left to go, he's giving the Tyrants a lifeline right now.
I love this. Just aggressively up on that ball. Wins the challenge first off Matt Rashi. Gets the double lined up as well. Just beats Ali to it. And that's a big goal for the Tyrants. 10 seconds left on the clock to find some heroics off this kickoff. L's looking for a chance. This is at a good angle. Just doesn't get the read right. Had the defense where they wanted them, but just not quite a good enough read. We'll find this one falling. The Bears come away with game number 4, 5-4.
And they're going to take home the majority of the games at that, at least taking home 3. But we've got one more left to play. It is MLE, so we do play all 5 games here. This one from the Bears, it started off shaky. It started off with the Tyrants coming in with all of the offense that they could. And while the Bears, they started off on the back foot. They were able to march on forward, able to retake the advantage, steal that one away from the Tyrants, and with those last 2 goals that went unanswered, that is until the Tyrants put in that final one, the Bears come out with a great victory. Now it's 3-1. The Tyrants, this can be in a bit of a tough spot because we do play all 5 games here. It's hard to know you're losing the series and still fight with that same sort of momentum, but if they want to take home 2 games, which are absolutely crucial when we're looking at playoff standings or really just division standings, Tyrants need to be taking home this game number 5, and if it's it's the kind of energy we saw at the beginning of game number 4, game number 5 should be an absolute banger.
They need this game. They don't want to give up a 4-1 here, especially with how tight the conference and the division standings can tend to be, especially down the way that the playoff runs have gone in seasons past. This is the time, if you're not going to win this series, to at least get something out of it. Just get to the finish line in this one with 2 wins in the bag. Reset, get yourself right for next week, come back stronger to regain and keep pushing on towards the playoffs as we get into the final 5 weeks of the season.
Tyrants here, this is the chance to show that you've got a little bit more made out of you than just skin and bones right now. It's tough to bounce back after a loss like that, but they've got an opportunity to do so. Ween looking for a touch over the top, not able to find it. Possession will continue for the Tyrants as Ansi will step up, keep this in the corner for the time being, but no, it's passed out. Alley looking for the infield, but no opportunities converted. Good opportunity, rather solid opportunity, both ways in the first 30 seconds of gameplay. L's with a touch off the backward. That's awkward. It's off the crossbar once again, but Matt Rachi able to find that save, keeps it out for the time being. Zach with the boom and clear as well to alleviate the pressure.
Turned right back, though, by the Tyrants as Ansu will pick that one up, looking to follow it in. L's lurking with boots, just waits on the clear. Good read, but not quite the best contact. This one's still dangerous for the Bears. It'll be up to Ween to clear that one away as the shot by Ali didn't quite have the zip on it that the Bears might have liked. Still scoreless here, Junior, as we get through the first 60 and change of play. One last look here at the Bears before I throw it back to you, but it's cleared away as nobody can quite follow that up in time.
Another opportunity, nice clever pass off the ceiling, just does not quite work out. The Tyrants right now are kind of scrambling for boosts. Some of them have a lot of boosts to work with, but they don't have enough to justify an attack downfield. Ansu puts this one top corner and takes the advantage for the Tyrants.
Uncontested possession at midfield here from the Bears. Matt Rachi's first clear just kind of left Zach with a lot to do, and Ellie not able to read that one as it kind of sneaks in from midfield. Ansu picks up the lead for the Tyrants off a great shot, caught the Bears napping.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about how the Tyrants need to find this game to show a little bit more of their strength that we've seen previously, and well, that's what they're going to need to continue on doing. First 90 seconds so far, Tyrants do come out the benefactors of the scoring, and they're even looking to find some even more down the pitch once more. Pass down, but no one's there for the Tyrants. One at midfield, one all the way back. It's a bit of an awkward offensive opportunity that doesn't quite convert itself into any direction. Keeping things going, Wayne, he's looking for something. It's a nice double tap, and Wayne puts it home 2-0 off the back of a 50. Brilliant play to at least double the lead.
Huge demo as well by Ansu coming back in that rotation. Just opened up all the space at midfield for the Tyrants offense to transition through. Ween with a huge job on the dribble through the air. Picks up a great challenge on the save attempt as well. And it's a 2-goal lead for the Tyrants, but no lead is safe so far in this series, Junior. We haven't seen the team in the lead defend that lead the whole way through, except the Bears in game number 1.
Yeah, Tyrants definitely need to hold on to this. In game number 4, we saw them take the advantage pretty early on. They just weren't able to stay solid as the Bears began to heat up the pressure. Now, I think the one saving grace right now for the Tyrants is that the Bears already know that they're going to be taking home the majority of the games. What's the motivation to win another one? Well, playoff spots, but that could obviously change. Oh my goodness, Weed, what a shot!
Can we talk about this one for a second? Els with the great lead pass. Ansu on the relay. Ween off the offensive backboard. Right off the undercarriage and in. Play of the week material right there.
That's gotta be play of the week. You put any other goal in there, that's just absolutely bonkers right now. And they're even gonna find a fourth off the kickoff at that. Els has extended the lead to 4. This is an absolute zinger of game that we're coming out with the Tyrants. They are playing out of their minds.
The 50 on that kickoff by Ween was massive. Just at the last possible second, the ball releases from the 50 and flicks towards the Bears net, catches Zach off guard, and a follow-up play out of, I believe it was Els to finish that one off, just puts the sauce on the dish that has been Game 5 for the Tyrants there. They're gonna lose the series, but they're gonna win Game 5 in style at this point.
Yeah, it's crazy that we have just less than half the game to go. I felt like this game has been going on for a little bit longer than that with the control we've seen, but no, we're just past halftime, 4-0. This must be diners, drive-ins, and dives right now because the amount of sauce we are seeing on the pitch is absolutely unmatchable. But hold on, here come the Bears right now. They're starting to mount an offensive opportunity. They want a shot at play of the week as well, and they're looking to do it in style as well, off the ceiling, looking for the passing plays. Alley's up for this, looking for a second touch. There's no defender in net. The follow-up's there, but it's just off the crossbars. That opportunity is just wide.
Great look by the Bears. Just didn't quite have enough on that one as the initial double touch by Alley wasn't great enough to open the door, and Ansu will put in the 5th for the Tyrants. Ween, great little relay touch, puts Alley in such a tough spot, and all they can do is pump it out to the top of the box where 2 Tyrants players are lurking on that one. 5 goals, 93 seconds left on the clock. The Bears look set to not take this one, and the Tyrants fans will be happy that their team doesn't drop a huge loss.
At the very least, I guess that you can be said that you're not taking home the majority of the games, but with the amount of power that's being present right now for the Tyrants, I'm happy with this result. If I'm a Tyrants fan or a GM, FM, it does not matter. 5-0, and the way that you've done it shows huge promises for the future. Now, the Bears, we've already seen what they can do. It feels like this is like the coming of age for the Tyrants right now, where we're really seeing the extent of their gameplay. They're just going for clips at this point. Last minute of gameplay, it looks secure for the Tyrants. Anything could happen, but the Tyrants have dominated the last 4 minutes.
That's unfortunate too by the Bears. Kind of sums up game number 5 in a nutshell. Zach and Matt Rocci both lurking in front of the Tyrants net. The pass by Alley opens it up perfectly, but Matt's shot blocked away by Zach in front of the net. Zach will find one here with 43 seconds to go, but it feels like too little too late for the Bears to try and take a 4-1 win in this set. The Tyrants with full control of this game at the moment, Junior. And even though the Bears get that one, it just feels like it's not enough.
43 seconds to find 4 goals is certainly a tall task at that, and with every second ticking down, every second to get back into it shuts down. But hold on, it's a triple commit downfield. Alley's going to find himself with an open net. Crazier things have happened. Zach steals that one away. 2 goals down at the very least to put them in their takeout box, but maybe there's a comeback on the horizon. We'll just have to wait and see.
All right, they needed 4 in about 40 seconds. They got 1 in 11 to bring them to 3 in 32. Caster math tells me there's still a chance.
There absolutely is still a chance. It's certainly unlikely. The Tyrants are starting to kind of crumble. It seems like the amount of juice they've got left in the tank is slowly starting to run out. But at this point, with 20 seconds left, you don't expect to drop 4 goals back to back to back. Even less time than that now as Ansu. He's just going to put this down towards the top of the box. Zach with a long booming touch, just looking for any kind of life support that he can. Maybe a 3rd goal found as the demo comes out onto Ansu. 6 seconds inanimate. There's still time left, but it's not that much at that.
What did I say 4.5 minutes ago about no lead is safe in this series? It's starting to feel like that. It's starting to feel like that. But 2 goals in 6 seconds is a big ask. This goal has to go in pretty much on this kickoff. That touch might just do enough for the Tyrants defense there as the final ticks come down. Matt Rocci up. Zach looking for one for the road. Won't get it. And this should just about touch ground. There it goes. The Tyrants walk away with Game 5. They'll lose the set, but it'll be at least a 2-3.
They lose this set, but they put in one of the best goals I've ever seen over here at MLE. I think that that's a trade that they'll be at least somewhat confident about. I mean, at the very end of the day, it's hard to come into game number 5 knowing that you don't have the potential to take home the majority of the games. The Tyrants come out with the best possible response. They just decide we're going to slam our foot on the gas and just pray that we can hold on for dear life. 5-3, they take home game number 5. They show us what they're made of, and honestly, if they can keep up this kind of pressure across all 5 games in a series, the Tyrants are looking dangerous for the playoffs coming up.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, when we talk about highlight reel goals, you know that Ween said in comms, "You see me," as they came off the backboard looking for that relay play. The fact that it was a 1-2-3 makes it all the sweeter. But the Tyrants, they show flashes of greatness. If not for those 2 close losses in games 2 and 3, we might be talking about a completely different result overall. The Bears win the set, but both teams get pretty much what they want out of this one, as neither team loses a ton of ground on that one. And that's not all we've got. We've got one more series up to end off the night. Don't go anywhere, folks. It's the Academy League coming up next. The Knights in the Eclipse do battle to close out primetime Saturday night. You're watching MLE Sports live on twitch.tv.